40% of Americans have canceled plans because of their stomach. They've skipped workouts, avoided dinners with friends, stayed home from work, all because of one symptom: bloating. If you've ever felt like your stomach inflated like a balloon after eating, you're not alone. A Cedars-Sinai study of nearly 89,000 Americans found that 1 in 7 experienced bloating just in the past week. But here's what most people don't realize, and what I'll reveal in this video. The 5 most common causes of bloating have nothing to do with what most gut health influencers are telling you. Before we dive in, this is educational content based on peer-reviewed research, not medical advice. Your situation is unique, so always work with a healthcare provider on personal health decisions. To understand why you're bloated, we need to understand what bloating actually is. Bloating is the sensation of fullness, tightness, or swelling in your abdomen. Sometimes it's just a feeling. Other times, your belly actually expands. That's called distension. Now here's the first thing most people get wrong. Bloating isn't always about gas. A 2024 review in the journal Microorganisms found that bloating involves a complex interaction between your intestinal barrier, your gut bacteria, your bowel motility, and, this is the surprising part, your brain. Your gut and brain are in constant communication. Scientists call this the gut-brain axis, and the main highway for this communication is your vagus nerve, the longest nerve in your body. Here's why this matters for bloating. When your brain perceives stress, it sends signals down the vagus nerve that can slow your digestion, increase gut sensitivity, and change your microbiome composition. This creates a cascade effect that researchers are only now beginning to fully understand. In fact, a 2024 study in Cell Metabolism found that your gut microbiota directly regulates your stress response through your circadian system. The bacteria in your gut aren't just digesting food, they're sending chemical signals that influence how you feel, physically and emotionally. So bloating isn't just a stomach problem, it's a whole body communication problem, and that's why quick fixes rarely work. I'll share what actually does work in a moment, including one strategy that outperformed prescription medications in clinical trials. But first, let's expose the 5 real reasons you're probably bloated. Because number 1, your stress is disrupting your vagus nerve. Remember that gut-brain highway we talked about? When you're chronically stressed, your body stays in fight-or-flight mode. This suppresses your parasympathetic nervous system, also known as rest and digest. A 2018 review in Frontiers in Neuroscience found that stress directly inhibits the vagus nerve and has deleterious effects on the gastrointestinal tract. Without proper vagus nerve function, your digestion slows down. Food sits in your gut longer than it should. Bacteria ferment that food, producing gas. And that gas has nowhere to go, so you bloat. The irony? Many people eat faster when they're stressed, which brings us to cause number 2. Cause number 2, you're eating too fast. This might sound simple, but the science behind it is profound. When you eat quickly, 2 things happen. First, you swallow more air. This is called aerophagia, and it's one of the most overlooked causes of bloating. Second, you don't chew your food thoroughly. Digestion starts in your mouth. Saliva contains amylase, an enzyme that begins breaking down carbohydrates. When you skip this step, your stomach has to work overtime. According to Cleveland Clinic research, fast eating leads to larger food chunks entering the stomach, straining the digestive system and increasing bloating. They recommend chewing each bite 15 to 30 times. It takes about 20 minutes for your brain to receive the signal that you're full. Fast eaters typically finish before that signal arrives, so they overeat, which compounds the bloating. Cause number 3. Certain medications are disrupting your microbiome. This is a hidden cause that most people, and even many doctors, don't fully appreciate yet. A groundbreaking 2025 study from Stanford tested over 700 drugs on gut bacteria. They found that 141 medications significantly altered the microbiome. And here's the concerning part: even short-term treatments created enduring changes. Some medications entirely wiped out specific bacterial species that never fully recovered. Another 2025 study in M Systems found that nearly half of 186 tested drugs had effects on the microbiome lasting years, even after people stopped taking them. Common culprits include proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, certain antidepressants, antibiotics, and beta blockers. This doesn't mean you should stop taking necessary medications. That's a conversation for your doctor. But it does mean that chronic bloating might be connected to something in your medicine cabinet. Quick note, I've put links to all the studies I'm referencing in the description below. Cause number 4, you're sensitive to certain fermentable carbohydrates. You may have heard of the low FODMAP diet. These are short-chain carbohydrates that are poorly absorbed in the small intestine. When they reach your large intestine, bacteria ferment them, producing gas, drawing in water, and causing bloating. A 2025 Lancet Gastroenterology and Hepatology Network meta-analysis found that low FODMAP diets lead to improvement in 50 to 80% of IBS patients, particularly with bloating and flatulence. High FODMAP foods include wheat, rye, onions, garlic, beans, lentils, certain fruits like apples and pears, and dairy products in people who don't absorb lactose well. This doesn't mean these foods are bad. It means your individual microbiome may not have the right bacteria to process them without producing excess gas. And cause number 5, your gut microbiome is out of balance. A 2024 review in Microorganisms found that people with chronic bloating often have distinct microbiome changes, specifically decreased microbial diversity, an increase in certain bacteria like Bacteroides and Clostridia, and a decrease in beneficial bacteria like Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus. These changes can disrupt intestinal neuromuscular function and compromise your mucosal barrier integrity. In other words, your gut's natural rhythm gets disrupted and the protective lining weakens, both of which contribute to bloating. Now that you understand the real causes, let's talk about what actually works to fix them. Fix number 1 may surprise you, because it doesn't involve any supplements, special foods, or expensive treatments. It's a simple 10 to 15 minute walk after meals. This sounds almost too simple to be effective, but a randomized clinical trial, published in the Journal of Gastrointestinal and Liver Diseases, found something remarkable. A 10 to 15 minute post-meal walk was compared to prescription prokinetic medications for treating bloating. The result: walking was just as effective. And research from Yale and other institutions confirms that walking accelerates gut motility and improves intestinal gas transit. Walking activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Remember, rest and digest. It stimulates muscle contractions in your stomach and intestines, and it helps trapped gas move through and out of your system. A gastroenterologist at Yale noted that walking is more effective at treating post-meal bloating and gas than powerful prescription pro-motility medications. The key is gentle walking, not intense exercise, which can actually worsen symptoms by diverting blood away from your digestive system. Fix number 2, slow down your eating. This addresses the air swallowing and improper chewing we discussed earlier. Aim for 20 to 30 chews per bite, especially for dense or fibrous foods. Put your utensils down between bites. Avoid screens and distractions during meals. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system before and during eating, preparing your gut to digest efficiently. The Canadian Digestive Health Foundation notes that constant snacking keeps your digestive system in overdrive, reducing efficiency. They recommend spacing meals 3 to 5 hours apart. This allows something called the migrating motor complex to activate, a cleansing wave that sweeps residual food and bacteria through your digestive tract. Fix number 3, address your stress response. Since stress directly impairs your vagus nerve and gut function, managing stress becomes a digestive strategy, not just a mental health one. Research shows that deep diaphragmatic breathing can activate vagal tone and improve digestive function. Even 5 to 10 deep breaths before eating may help prepare your gut for digestion. Regular moderate exercise, beyond just post-meal walks, has been shown to increase microbiome diversity and reduce systemic inflammation. A 2024 review in Microorganisms found that aerobic exercise enhances beneficial bacteria, including lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. These are exactly the bacteria that tend to be depleted in people with chronic bloating. Fix number 4. Consider your medication's role. If you're on long-term medications and experiencing persistent bloating, this is worth discussing with your healthcare provider. The Stanford research shows that individual medications, even within the same class, can affect the microbiome very differently. Some may have less impact on your gut than others. Never stop or change medications without medical guidance, but awareness is the first step. And fix number 5. Pay attention to your personal trigger foods. While a full low FODMAP diet should be done under guidance from a registered dietitian, you can start noticing patterns. Keep a simple food and symptom diary for 2 weeks. Note what you eat and how you feel 2 to 4 hours later. You may discover that certain foods consistently precede your worst bloating episodes. Common triggers include wheat products, dairy, high fructose foods, sugar alcohols and sugar-free products, and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Your triggers may be completely different, and that's normal. The 2025 Lancet meta-analysis emphasized that a personalized approach to dietary management produces better outcomes than one-size-fits-all recommendations. So let's put this all together into a practical action plan. Step 1. Start walking for 10 to 15 minutes after your 2 largest meals, typically lunch and dinner. This costs nothing, requires no equipment, and research suggests it may be as effective as medication for many people. Step 2. At your next meal, try eating more slowly. Set a goal of 20 to 30 chews per bite, and try to make your meal last at least 20 minutes. This gives your satiety hormones time to signal your brain, which can reduce overeating and the bloating that comes with it. Step 3. Add 5 to 10 deep breaths before eating. This simple practice can shift your nervous system from fight or flight to rest and digest. Step 4. Start a simple food and symptom journal. Just 2 weeks of tracking can reveal patterns you've never noticed. And step 5. If bloating persists despite these changes, talk to your healthcare provider. They can help rule out underlying conditions, review your medications, and potentially refer you to a registered dietitian for more targeted dietary guidance. Remember, persistent bloating that doesn't improve with lifestyle changes deserves medical evaluation. It's not something you should just live with. The Cedars-Sinai study found that nearly 60% of people with bloating never sought care. Many were self-managing symptoms or felt uncomfortable discussing them with their providers. But digestive symptoms are something healthcare providers discuss every day. There's no need to suffer in silence. Here's what I hope you take away from this video. Bloating isn't just about what you eat. It's about how you eat, when you eat, how stressed you are, what medications you take, and the balance of bacteria in your gut. These factors interact with each other in complex ways. That's why simple detox solutions and miracle supplements rarely work. But evidence-based strategies like post-meal walking, slower eating, stress management, and personalized food choices address the root causes, and they can make a real difference. Remember, what we've covered today is what research shows in controlled studies. Your body is unique, and a qualified professional can help you apply these insights to your specific situation. Everything we discussed is linked in the description below, including all the research citations so you can explore further. If you found this helpful, subscribe for new gut health research every week. Next time, we're exploring the hidden link between your gut and your sleep, including how your gut bacteria actually follow their own body clock. It's something most people have never heard about, and it could be affecting your energy, mood, and digestion. See you there.